Well, with all the excitement that we had before Mass, we sort of lost all the homily time. So we'll see if we can make it up a little bit. Don't be too hopeful. The scriptures today, both the Old Testament reading and the Gospel, place very firmly the primacy of God in the life of the believer. And that hero Israel was from the Shema. God's giving me a hint. Was from the Shema of Israel. Here, listen, Israel. And we may not know it, in fact, I just found it out just yesterday or so, but the word obedience comes. Now, there are people who are both sorry for me and glad at the same time. Thank you so much. Amen, amen. I say, anyone who gives a cup of cold water into my name shall not lack for their reward. So the word obedience comes from the word obedire, meaning to listen, to direct your attention to. You might remember that whenever important instruction came when you were young, it was always preceded by the word listen, right? Listen to me. You listening to me? You hear what I'm saying? Listen to your mother when she talks to you. These were important admonitions, and so it is, of course, listen, O Israel. There is only one God. There is none other than He. Now, this is different than speaking about God, because this was addressed to a nation that lived in a very pantheistic culture, a multitude of pagan gods, very diverse. And it wasn't just that Adonai, Lord, was the supreme being among other gods. He was the only one. There is none other than He. So that meant that all our heart, all our mind, all our soul, all our strength should be given to the one God. And it didn't have to be divided among, the God of the harvest and the God of the wine festival and the God of the house and the God of, because there was all these many gods that had to be appeased and had to be attended to. Did you know, by the way, that when people are married and they feed each other the bit of the wedding cake, you know where that came from? It goes way, way back. It really meant that what would happen is the two spouses would mutually agree to feed the shrines of each other's household gods. Did you know that? Now it's become lost in it, but that had to do with the obligation to take care of all the different gods. And so this is saying there's only one. And then, of course, the obligation to love God is tied to love of neighbor. Now, in the world that we live in, we aren't one God competing among other gods, as in a monotheistic culture versus a pantheistic culture. But we, in fact, do find ourselves running after other gods. Gods of comfort, gods of power, gods of wealth, gods of whatever, pick. Plenty of people are running after all these other things. And it's as if there's an obligation to serve them because of the way our life gets so conflicted by the other desires that we have, other than the desire to serve God with all our heart, all our mind, all our soul, all our strength. This was such an important Shema, commandment, Hear, O Israel, that they actually put the scroll in a little box and bound it around their foreheads so they would always remember it. They put it in a little box on the entrance to their house. They would begin their day with it and end their day with it. And it was considered praiseworthy if, before you died, this would be the last prayer on your lips. Now, so it was supposed to be always on their mind. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one, there is none other. And so all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength goes to Him. Now, to give a little bit of an example here, I like Willie Nelson. I really do like Willie. I like his voice. I like his style. But one of the songs that he sings is the worst song in the world for me. And it's the one, maybe I never told you, right? All those lonely, lonely nights. That he says, little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time, but you were always on my mind. I want to say thanks for nothing, And so I think we have the same thing that can happen in our relationship with God, just as a relationship with a spouse. And we're supposed to have a spousal relationship with God. Homily alarm. Just stop it. Thus endeth the lesson. We're supposed to have a spousal relationship with God, but we get distracted. And I think I'm going to say, you pick out the things that are distractions for you and try not to do them anymore. And that's the end of my homily.